Hi everybody, it's me, Valerie from Stampin' with Valerie. How are you all doing on this fantastic Tuesday? Hopefully you are having a good day. I am having a good day. Today for Update Tuesday, Stampin' Up! Shared some inspiration from the Botanical Prints medley, which includes the Botanical Prints stamp set, the Botanical Prints dies, I believe, yes, Botanical Prints dies, which have the little leaves, cuts all of these three images out with these three, and then you have this intricate little die cut. Let me see, I know I have some cut over here so you can see. So you can cut one out at a time to piece them together, but they're really kind of neat, I think, once they're cut out. Then it also has, sorry, I gotta pull up my video here, this amazing old olive twill ribbon, which I think is fantastic. It's great for tying bows because it's nice and flat. It's great for wrapping around things for that same reason. It's a nice flat ribbon, so it always one of my favorite things is when the ribbon is easy to tie in bows. The designer series paper that comes in this is so fabulous. It's got the Calypso Coral, the Crushed Curry, and the Pretty Peacock. And then when you flip it over, I mean, these are obviously two different prints for each one of these. That's why I have them separated. But then the back side is all just black and white. So you can use it for coloring in. You can use it just as an accent piece, or you can just make a black and white card, which is kind of almost what we're doing today. So let me just set these aside, and I want to show you the photo that Stampin' Up! Shared with us today. Oh, and you have these little bees too, these little copper bees, which I think are adorable, that come in that set. The copper bees, die cuts, and some little labels. I'll show you those in a minute. But those are everything that come in the medley. So it's a great deal because you get all of this stuff, and then it's pretty much up to your imagination, looking at other people's blogs, different ideas, Pinterest, to get ideas however you want to do this. So now what they shared with us today were these three different cards, and they named it the Casual Crafter, the Avid Crafter, and the Artfully Avid Crafter. Personally, I love this card right here. So this is the one we are going to make today. But I will give you a couple of hints for these two cards here. If you decide you do want to make them, the card measurements are going to be the same. The designer series paper measurements are going to be the same. The only thing that they did different for this card is they colored that background in using a brayer, which is a, oh my gosh, I don't have my brayer in front of me. I should have got it out. It is a sponge roller that you roll over your ink, and then you roll over your paper to get that color. Then for this image, they actually, it said they cut this designer series paper into strips and brayered them with Old Olive and Pretty Peacock, and then just layered them back on there. Personally, I would just maybe watercolor them and use your aqua painter. They did use the aqua painter for this image here because they stamped this with Versamark and then heat embossed it with white embossing powder and then watercolored the fruit in. So they've got that emboss resist on that one. So if you want to try one of the more advanced ones, you absolutely can go for that. I'm going to demonstrate the casual card today. So I'm going to set these aside and get the supplies out. Now I already pre-cut my paper, and then I die cut some leaves. So we're just going to fold our Whisper White cardstock in half. Hi Sherry, how are you? So just get your Whisper White cardstock folded in half, and then you're going to take that piece of designer series paper, and you're just going to use some snail adhesive or Tombow glue, whichever you want to use, and adhere that to the front of the card. Hi Donna, hi Kelly, how are you? Glad you could join us. So once you get that little piece, or that piece of designer series paper on the card, if you, I'm going to show you that photo again, if you decided to go with one of the more intricate ideas, you could color that paper ahead of time. or you could wait until it's on here. It really doesn't matter. I'm not going to color it because I'm going to do the casual version. So then what you need to get out are your labels. And I like to leave these labels on the sheet until I stamp on them. Now for this card, they used a Pretty Peacock ink, which is a really gorgeous ink, which is actually this same color here as what these die cuts are. And they used the Thank You Kindly. And I want to stamp this real quick just to make sure I get it straight, because I put my label on just a little bit crooked, so I need to just mess with it and then make sure I know how to angle my block before I stamp it. I got it straight. Yay, go me. Hi Ingrid, how are you? Oh, Sherry, that's okay. Do not worry about that. McKinley is going to have a great time. I'll be able to talk to her directly, and she will just think it's super fun. It is not a problem. 1 person or 10 people, I still have to prep. So I'm excited that you have joined the class. Kelly, no, this is not the new Paper Pumpkin. This is the Botanical Prints Medley. So it is in the mini catalog. And Ingrid, I am doing great. I hope you are doing great as well. All right, so once you have that part done, you're going to pick your die cut. Now this is the die cut they chose to use, so I decided I would just use the same one. But because you get sheets with different ones, you can choose different fruits if you want. If you want to do the cherries or the plums, you could use those. But I'm going to go ahead and go with what they chose. Now I do have actually one of the cherries over here out. Maybe we'll just add more than one to ours. Who knows? Let's see. Let's just add this one on using some Stampin' Dimensionals, which I know I have those here somewhere. You know how it is when I get on here. I think I have everything ready to go, and then I've shoved stuff to the side, and then I forget where it is when I get all of my stuff moved around, then I figure it out. All right, so just take a couple of pieces of, or a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals, however you're doing it. Obviously, I was using what was left on my sheet. And then go ahead and get your fruit layer die cut stuck down. And you don't want it too far down because and I just stuck it. So it's gonna stay right here now, which is pretty much about where I wanted it anyway, because you want your die cut here, so you didn't want it too far down is what I was trying to say as I stuck it down. I'm so glad y'all can see that it's okay to make mistakes, because I do it every time I am on camera and every time I'm not on camera. So just so you know, you obviously know this is nothing new. Now they also used some of these little leaves, but they stuck these down kind of under where, and they propped, you know, I don't want to say propped them up, but kind of bent them a little bit so they would be sticking up once they're stuck down. But I believe they used glue dots for these. So we will just grab some glue dots and get these stuck down, because the way they are coming out from underneath the card on the photo is they're coming out from over here on the left-hand side of the tag, and then also underneath the right side bottom of the tag. Now, if we wanted to add the cherries in here, maybe we could add those down on the bottom as well, or kind of under the edge. I don't know, it just doesn't look right. I think we'll just keep it with the one fruit. And I'll do the same. I'll just stick 2 of these to one glue dot, because you don't need a separate glue dot for each one if they're going to be right next to each other, because those glue dots are big enough. But I just want to turn my card a little bit because I want to make sure I get them underneath this tag. But I don't want them too far underneath the tag. And now that I have a couple on there, then I will go ahead and just add a couple more because I want it to be really full. And I'll probably just add 2 more to each little area. We'll add a couple more under here and a couple more to this side as well, because I like it with lots of floof. We all know that. Do any of you have this medley? Or have you thought about ordering this medley? I'm going to kind of slide this one underneath those ones so I know they will be fit under the tag. And sometimes it's all about all of this layering. Like when you're doing layers like this, you try to get everything under there that you can before you stick the main piece down, which we're just going to use one strip of dimensional for this because it should fit perfectly underneath this. Kelly, you don't have it, you need to get it. I think it's a fantastic medley because it's, like I was saying, it is one of those things that you come up with your own ideas for. They don't give you any patterns with a medley. You just get all of the different supplies. But there's Pinterest, there's my blog, there's other blogs. There are lots of places you can look for ideas. So don't be discouraged if you order a medley and you can't come up with an idea right away. That's not a big deal. You can always find ideas somewhere. All you have to do is search Stampin' Up! Botanical Prints Medley and it will come up with ideas. So now this was a piece of the twill ribbon that I had cut before that I thought we're not going to let it go to waste, so I saved it, which I'm glad I did because this needs a bow underneath the edge over here. But it's kind of a hidden bow. They kind of stick it, well, I say it's hidden, but it's partially hidden underneath the label. It's not 100% hidden, but we kind of stick it underneath. So I just want to make sure I get it big enough. And I'm so glad I was able to use this piece. Chrissy, hi, how are you? I was seriously just going to mention that. Like, it seems, okay, I was going to say that a couple of weeks ago I used this medley and then Stampin' Up! Used this medley this week. And then I was like, every time I use something and the next couple of weeks they use it for a project and then I end up making another project with it. So I thought that was kind of funny too. I was thinking the same thing. I don't always have the stamps they have, but a lot of times I do. So that's kind of, because I think I overbuy. That's why, Chrissy, I overbuy. All right, so now all we have to do for the rest of this is add some of these fantastic little bees. Now I found the best way to add these little bees is with glue dots. They are metal, they are copper colored. I mean, they're not made with copper, obviously. And I think they put 3 of them on this card. So we'll go ahead and put 3 on this card. But I'm gonna pull this up a little closer to the camera so you can see the detail on those. They have the little stripes on them. The wings have all of the little veins in the wings. They're fantastic. I love them. They're like one of my favorite parts of this entire medley. We'll put one here, and I kind of stretched my glue dot a little bit there. I might have to get that one back off there and re-stick it so it's not all sticky around it. Add another one up here. And then one up here just on the black and white. And again, if you wanted to take this to the next level, you could do the brayering, you could color it in, you could add a piece of cardstock behind it. However you want to do it. I personally just loved this card, so that's why I chose to do this version, because I thought it was fantastic. And now for the inside. I hadn't stamped anything on the inside yet, but I think maybe we'll stamp this, but I still want to do it in the pretty peacock ink because I want it to match the ink color on the front. So we'll just get that on a block. And I'm not going to stamp the entire image. I'm only going to stamp part of it. I'm just going to open it up here and stamp it off on the right hand side, like half of it. So I'm only getting half of it on the card. So then you just have that little extra little piece on the inside. I don't want to let it close all the way just yet. But there it is. That is today's Update Tuesday card. It was super easy. I'm going to have all the measurements on my blog in a little while. I will get this video downloaded to YouTube or uploaded to YouTube so that I can put it on my blog. And I hope you will head over to my blog and just check out, get all the measurements so you can make this card yourself. You can do this without the Botanical Prints Medley. You can pretty much make everything on this card. If you have some kind of a leaf die and anything, it doesn't have to be a fruit. It doesn't have to be, it could be a floral image. It could be whatever, something that you could die cut out or punch out and a little label. That's all you need. And then you can do it with any designer series paper. So that's what I always want you to take away from my videos is, even though I'm using the Botanical Prints Medley for this, you can use something else with the measurements that I give you, a different designer series paper, a different stamp set. You can always turn it into your own vision. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I appreciate you stopping in. And like I said, I will get this posted with my blog link in just a little while. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. I live and love to inspire you. Thank you. Bye.